So I figure, guys, since I've had this thing, Quest 3, for about a month now, I'll give you a review, man. A real in-person review, I guess. Not gonna give you any fancy, Nancy stuff. No intros, nothing like that. Um, Spec-wise, I'm not gonna give you any specs, to be honest, because all that you can really look online to see, and there's other videos online that would go into more in depth with specs and stuff like that. But I'm just going to give you my experience of using the Quest 3 compared to the 2 or any standalone VR headset for that matter. As of now, I will be honest, Quest 3 is probably the best standalone VR. Not compare. I mean, I can't compare it to PC VR. Obviously, I think PC VR is probably more uh, ahead. But the fact that PCVR, you got to be, hooked up to your computer and you have wires going around. It kills the whole VR aspect. But something simple just to like put on and just use, you know, this is Quest 3 right now is probably the best one. Um, a lot of people talk about holding off and getting to and just stay with a two. I mean, you can do that. You can definitely do that. There's nothing wrong with that as well. But if you do want to experience, you know, the, more of the quality, the better qualities of the three, then the three is something you should consider getting. Especially if you use the two quite often, like me. When I first got it, I didn't use it that often, so I didn't really consider it. But after using, I find myself using the two a lot. I got the three, and it is a big difference and a big jump from the two. Okay, so let's talk controller wise, guys. Controller wise, as you can see, it's great. Um, if you look here, you see finger tracking. I mean, you can see me hitting the buttons, my thumb, um, my top fingers. You see how sensitive that is? It reads it. Look, you can slow down, fast, faster. The back fingers. See that? It's nice. If you look here, I don't know if you can see, but you see that little button. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. You see that little button right there? So in real life, you have that button as well. And all you gotta do is push that little button. That slide will come right off, and you can change the battery out that way. Now, I kind of wish they put internal batteries instead, so that you can charge it USB-C or wireless or whatever. But obviously, they're trying to save money as well. So, and I think in the long run, an internal battery might not be so good because it might go bad, right? Because these controllers, guys, they go through a lot, man. Vibrations, the haptics in it, just you're going to be using it a lot, honestly, if you do use the Quest. So I think they probably took that into consideration, and having internal batteries might have been a bad thing. I don't know, which is why they opted out for the battery changer, right? The double A's, because batteries are more convenient and you could get it anywhere nowadays. You could change it. Um, Aside from that, wrist movements tracking is good. Feels solid, smooth. Um, Elbows, guys. Look, my elbows. It tracks your elbows, guys. Shoulder wise, I, they haven't done it that yet. Supposedly in the future updates, they're supposed to add that on, so you're going to be able to track your shoulders and everything, which is pretty cool. So the Quest 3 has three major cameras here in the front, as advertised. I don't know they do individually, but I think they work cohesively together to make the experience better. Aside from the three cameras, they have two cameras here on the side, okay, from pointing down, and I think in the future that might track your legs. I don't, I'm not sure, but it does track the floor really good for when you're trying to make your boundaries. Aside from that, man, the menu wise, it's snappy, guys. You could change. I mean, sometimes it'll take a while to load, but just depending on what it is that you're loading, if it's a bigger file or not. But one thing I want to show you, see, this is my home space. It's you can go to your settings and change your home space, and it's relatively fast, guys. Look at that. It's quite snappy. Look at that. In the two, it took a while. I would be honest. It took at least you know at least 5 seconds or more. I would say, but here it's a little. You can see it's a couple seconds, relatively quick. Um, Aside from that, let's see. Let's go to the menu. The menu, it's the interface is the same as the two because it uses the same. I'm pretty sure it's the same update. So whatever Meta is using or Quest is using, it uses the same one, guys. But let's go to YouTube. Uh, so YouTube wise, yeah, everything's still the same. Let's see. Probably one of the things I don't think the two had this, but this one on the three, you can curve your screen. So I'll just click on a random video, right? Oh, come on. So I don't know if you can see, but the screen is curved. Now I don't know on the two if it has that. I don't know. If you look here, you can see where it says curved screen. So you can curve your screen, but everything else is the same. You can make your screen smaller, bigger, and everything. But as you can see, everything's good. Everything runs flawlessly. Now you can still have, you can still use the two, and you can still experience everything. Because the three is essentially just the two, but just an improved version. That's it, guys. That's all it is. Quest 3 is Quest 2. It's just a big improvement. Like I said a long time ago, Quest 3 is what the Quest should have been all along, guys. But you know this takes trial and error to get there. And with future updates, man, Quest 3 is only going to get better. One thing to mention too, a lot of people say that the microphone on the Quest 3 is not as good compared to the 2. That might be the case, yes. However, in my personal opinion, I think it is just a software issue, or it just needs a software update. I think. I think in the future, when they have more updates, I think they could fix that for sure and make it a lot better. Um, because the Quest 2 already has many updates. But the 3, like I said, it just came out a month ago, guys, and I think it only recently got its first update, and it fixed some of the issues, but it's a lot more updates to go. Also, let's go back to the controllers. Um, they have their own updates for the controllers, guys. They didn't have that on the 2. Now they have that on the Meta Quest Pro, but these controllers they have that too. They have software updates. So when it's updating, you'll see it'll say left controller updating or right controller updating. So these two controllers, they have their own programs, man. And if they have updates for controllers, man, I can only imagine in the future what other updates they have. Uh, but like I said, everything works the same. Like Quest 2, it's just faster, better quality. Um, but everything is almost identical, really. The size, it's a little slimmer, but not much. I mean, people would like to think that it's smaller, but very little. It's just more slimmer, so it looks more cleaner. That's it. Where opposed to the two, it just looks a little bit more bulky. But the weight wise, the three is actually heavier than the two, guys. So just to keep in mind. But I use VR a lot, anyways, and most of the time when I do use VR, I'm sitting down, so it should be okay. For children, yeah, it might be a bit of an issue, especially if you have smaller children using it. Yeah, it's a little heavier. Also, because of the cameras, they're exposed, so I mean, you will probably want to get some protectors in the future, because I can't imagine dropping this headset and shattering one of those lenses. So that might be a drawback, guys. Opposed to the two, you can drop that thing, you can scratch that thing, it'll be fine. You know, on the three, you can still do all that too. You can still, you know, it's still really robust. You know, but I worry about the three cameras here in the front because they're cameras, and like the ones on the back of your phone, and they can break, guys. They can definitely break. But fortunately, I have no kids, so the kids won't be using the three. And I don't think any parent would get the kids to a three. um, the two now, the two is great for kids, and I would probably recommend it to guys. And if I were you guys, man, I would stock up on it too. If you're planning to like play, especially with your kids or your family, and just because now, I mean, I'll be honest, everybody's getting rid of their twos because they're not into VR anymore. And I've been stocking up, guys. I got like three and four of them, and I got them for like 150 each, man, on marketplace, guys. I mean, you could depending on where you buy it, you could probably buy it for more or less, but I mean, 150 for a Quest 2, guys, you can't beat that, man. And these Quest 2, like I said, they're really robust, you know, and they don't break often. If you break these, man, you're using them a little too rough, you know. It's like those videos online, right? You see people using it, they're like jumping and hitting the wall and falling down. I mean, if you're doing that, then yeah, it's gonna break. But like if you're just playing and sometimes you just drop it by accident, it's not gonna break, you know. Oh, let's go again. Back to the controllers. They've gotten rid of the rings, which is great. You know, on the two it had the ring, which is kind of bulky and kind of ugly, but on the three it's slim, man, and it makes a big difference. Look at that. Look how close I can get the controllers. Oh, they're essentially touching a little bit. But that makes a big difference when it comes to playing certain games, right? Certain games that require you to use your hands, you know, that comes really close like this. On the two, you had issues because it will bump like right here, and that's like as far as you can go. But here you can actually go closer, you know, which is great, guys. Also, it has the little charging indicator here where it tells you where your battery level is, which is great. On the two, you didn't have that. You had to go to your menu to find the level, or you had to wait until you get a notification saying low battery, right? But here, at least you can look and you will see, and you already know if it's gonna be low or not. But even if it's just like halfway like this, it still has a long life left, guys. Like I said, I've been using this for a month, and look, I mean, it still has a lot of battery. So if you use it a lot like me, which I do, I mean, it lasts. I mean, I'll be honest. And you'll be looking at maybe changing it out maybe every month or two, which is not bad. Um, but controller wise is great. Screen, like I said, screen's great. Um, Also, I wanted to mention the lenses. Okay, everybody's talking about these pancake lenses, right? And they are great. They're great. There's nothing bad about them, really, because it makes everything more clear. But the biggest difference from the two to the three is that it doesn't have that screen door effect no more. So on the two, so these are your eyes, right? These two dots, right? On the two, sometimes if I cross my eyes where I bring them too close, or I try to use my eyes like that to look on the other side, sometimes you'll see the screen door effect where you'll see that divider, and that kind of destroys the immersive part of VR, right? But on the three, you no longer have that. Um, what you see is what you see. It's just like real life, right? Even though we have two eyes and they're working individually, they're also working together, right? So in real life, when you're looking, what you see, right, is the whole picture, right? Like the whole picture. And on the three, that's exactly what you see. You see the whole picture, guys. Now, with one of the pros of having the pancake lenses is that I think it eliminates or it helps with the motion sickness. And I think that was one of the drawbacks of Quest 2 is because a lot of people got motion sick. So they never really got into VR because they tried it for an hour and two and they got really, really sick. So they stopped playing and they never went back. But on the three, man, I don't find myself getting sick. I haven't gotten sick actually. And on days that I'm off, sometimes I'll be on this thing for like 6 hours, guys. And I don't feel sick compared to the two. And I also went back to use my some of the apps and like some of the older games that I used to get motion sick from the two. And now on the three, guys, I don't get that no more, which is a big, big improvement. And I think that has to do with the lenses. These new lenses, I think they do really make a difference for sure. Aside from the lenses, guys, there's two new things that the three brings to the table, and that's the augment reality thing, right? Where you could and the pass through. The pass through is full color pass through, which is great. And depending on the lighting, I mean, it might look grainy in some areas, but at least you have color on it now. But if you're like in a well lit area, it looks good, man. It really does. There's other videos online that will show you all that, and you can look more into that. But those two things, they do make a difference. Aside from that, um, yeah, three is great, man. If you're planning on getting it, I mean, like I said, I don't think you will be disappointed. Is it pricey? Yeah, it's a little pricey, guys. That's why I said if you want to wait off on it, you could. But if you're like me who wants to jump into it, that's what you're really paying for it's paying to have early access and to be one of the earlier ones to have it. Because not a lot of people have the Quest 3, I would be honest. I mean, there's a handful, but not a lot because, like I said, the 3 is a little bit more expensive, especially if you get the one with the more memory, right? Which I got that one. So I got the 500 gig one, which is like close to $700. So I I mean, if you have the funds to do it, it's great. But if not, I mean, you could get the one with the lower memory. But like I said, if you want to hold off on it, just get the two. You can. There's a lot of things you can do on the two to improve it too. I mean, they have a lot of accessories and a lot of lenses that you could use with it to um, make the experience more pleasant. In other words. But the three, man, everything looks good. Everything looks good. Everything looks polished. Uh, the unit, the controllers, everything itself feels quality. Um, the color's okay. It's personal preference. I guess white is their color. But some people, they'll put like covers on it. So I do have covers on it. The grip for my controllers, and I don't have anything for my headset yet, but I'm planning to get probably the tempered glass for my lenses just to protect them. But other than that, man, it's great. Um, the foam here on your face, it's it's okay, it's usable. But I would definitely be upgrading it in the future when they come out with upgrades for it. And headsets, I mean, it still uses the common strap that you have on the two, which is for some people it's comfortable. Most people, it's not. But they have so many varieties that you can choose from. They have different adapters that you can change the headsets from your two to your three. But yeah, um, but if you were just to use the previous headsets, like the accessories, and you try to put that on the three, it won't work, guys. Um, they made it so that the sizes is a little different. The design is still the same, but the size is off, so it doesn't fit. And you know why they did that. um, but they do make adapters, so you can just clip it on. I mean, and then you could just use whatever you have on the two on your three, right? I haven't done that. I tried, but it doesn't work. So I'm just probably gonna just get you know the other accessories for the three. They have ones with battery packs and other stuff. I don't use the battery pack, guys, to be honest, because I don't. When I'm playing, like especially if I'm gonna be playing for a long time, I'm seated and I have a power bank and it's plugged in and it's charging. Now a lot of people say that the charger that comes with it doesn't charge it. It charges it, but sometimes it can't even maintain it while you're playing. I don't know. I haven't used it, but just by looking at the charger, it's small. It's like very small, So I mean, judging from it, yeah, if it's that small, it's not gonna it's not gonna power up your thing. I mean, especially you're using it while charging. But the cord is so short, you're not gonna be wanting to charge it and use it at the same time because there's not a lot of movement. So if you do plan on playing it and charging it at the same time, I recommend bank, man. One that actually plugs into the wall that has like a power bank on it. So that supplies enough. You know, it just depends on the charger you use, guys. Everyone's talking about how they try all these chargers and they still have issues. I don't know what they're using, but I just use a USB-C laptop charger. That's it. And it has that rectangle power bank, right? And it charges my thing fine, no issues. I can charge it while playing, and it's a long cord, so I have no issues with that at all. Overheating, I haven't had any issue with overheating. Is there a little bit of heat blowing off from the center of the headset? Yeah, there is because there's a fan in there, guys, and it's cooling off the CPU and the processor and everything. So, of course, it's going to be warm there. But I mean, if you're playing a lot, like 8+ hours, I mean, obviously it's gonna overheat, guys. And it just depends on what you're playing too, and what you're using it on. I find that a lot of people find it overheating is because they're using it for PC VR and they use the Quest Link, so they're playing it with their computer and it's running high graphics and everything. It can do it. That's the thing. The Quest 3 can do it. Um, but it's gonna burn itself out, man, if you use it for that. Because honestly, even though it can do it with PCVR, guys, I wouldn't recommend Quest 3 for PCVR. I mean, I'm just being honest, guys. There's other options. I mean, if you can afford a high end PC, you can afford a high end headset that matches with your computer. Um, I mean, like I said, you could use the three. There's nothing wrong with that. It can do it. But if you use it for extensive amount of time, yes, it's gonna have issues, just like any device, right? But if you're just using it standalone like this, like me, I just use it at my workstation, my desk, and I just charge it and play it, and I play it casually, and I play some games, and sometimes I'll watch videos and stuff like that. Then it's it's good. There's no battery issue right there. Um, Now, like I said, the battery life is the same. It's the same like the two, guys. Some people say it's better or worse, but I think it all just depends, right? It's all circumstantial, really. Depends what you're using it on, watching videos, playing games, you know, depending how active you are on it, There's a lot of things involved, guys, that affects it. But yeah, man, the three guys, if you can, if you have a little bit cash to throw, and you play the two a lot, and you want to improve that or have a better experience with the quest, yeah, the three is the way to go, guys. Like I said, I don't think you'll be disappointed, but you can hold off on it and just stick with the two. There's nothing wrong with that. I thought about that for the longest time. I kept thinking, you know what, I'm gonna stay with the two and just wait. But the more and more I played online, I kept meeting other individuals that had the three, and they kept telling me it's a big, big difference. And I just had to check it out myself, guys. I mean, the thing is, there's nowhere you can't go anywhere to try the three unless you know somebody who has the three. I mean, you can't really go to a store and say, I want to try out the three, right? They should. They should allow that, honestly. Like in GameStop, they should allow that option. They should allow the option because that might improve their sales. Um, but yeah, I mean, I kept thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I think I need the three. I need all these fancy things in my life. Right? Because I treat myself a lot. But yeah, anyways, yeah. This is just one of the home screens. I like this one because I can just sit here on the couch and bring out my menu and just watch some videos and look into the distance. So the Quest has definitely taken my movie experience to another level. I just watch movies here and I just stream them here and stuff like that. I don't go to the theaters no more, guys. Uh, what else? What else?